When I was younger, I used to work as a night auditor for a very popular hotel chain. It had a long history that dated back to the Underground Railroad, where tunnels were built throughout the building and were used to secretly lead the slaves to freedom. When the hotel owners started to demolish the property and convert it into a hotel, they found an old distillery used during the Prohibition era. The building was saturated in fantastic and interesting history. I was told that during the renovation, a decision was made to keep much of the existing brick and woodwork. This gave the hotel a historic and warehouse feel to it. While it hadn't been occupied in nearly 40 years, the guts of the building were in amazingly great shape. It had such an interesting vibe, and New Orleans is known for attracting the most interesting of guests for Mardi Gras and Jazz Fest. I loved it there, until the night that I quit. It was close to 3:30 a.m. when one of the guests stumbled in with a woman who frequented the hotel as a guest of our guests. She was one of the unspoken perks that our concierge desk would provide when requested only by the most distinguished guests. An incredibly beautiful, tall black woman. Diamond never had a problem getting work, and she tipped us at the front desk, security, and the concierge incredibly well. This was for us turning a blind eye. Being a professional flirt, and me being bored out of my mind most nights, we often found ourselves having conversations when she was finished with her shift. The stories she would share with me to this day still boggle my mind, being that she had worked in the hotel longer than I had. She would tell me these stories about a certain row of spa suites that were visible from where I stood at the front of the desk in the mezzanine. She mentioned how strange things would happen in those rooms when she or one of her girlfriends would visit them. They were strange things like shadows, moving objects, flickering lights, and voices. I always took it as her showing off her art of storytelling. I never knew it was true. On the night I quit, however, she wasn't her usual self. The fact of the matter is, I didn't even speak with her that night, or any night after. The last time I saw Diamond, she was running naked and screaming out of the front door of the hotel. I remember hearing her first through one of the spa suite rooms on the mezzanine. When I looked up to investigate the location of the sounds, I saw her hurl open the door from room M106 and watched her haul her butt down the glass-walled hallway, down the stairs, and out to the street. I just stood there watching her in awe of the moment. Here was this voluptuous woman flopping all about, screaming, petrified, and covered in something, and all I could do was gawk at her. The moment she ran out of my sight, I sobered up and immediately gazed up at the open door. After staring at the wide-open entrance of the room on the mezzanine for about a minute, my stomach dropped every time I saw a shadow change within. Soon, Bill, the lone security guard on duty, whipped around the corner from the back office where he had often taken naps. Her screams woke him up. I pointed to the room and I tried to explain to him what I had seen. He immediately called the police for backup, and per protocol, we both started to make our way up to that level, eyes transfixed on the door. As we reached the hallway, other guests started peeping their heads out of their rooms. We quietly shushed them and asked them to go back to their rooms. As we approached the doorway, Bill pulled his gun and called out to the guest, but there was no response. We decided to enter. All we could hear was a rapid buzzing noise. And then there was the king-size bed at the end of the hallway. This was one of the smaller spa suites that had a bed, an armoire with a TV, a desk, and a jet spa bathtub catty-corner to the bed. The bed was unkempt but empty, so we moved closer, and we could still hear the humming, but it was getting louder. I called out again to see if we could get an answer from the guest, but we didn't. Then we began to see shadows. They seemed to blanket the entire room, and we turned the corner. Under the heat lamp above the bathtub spa, there it was. A huge, tent-sized swarm of angry, hungry termites. And in the bathtub lay the naked guest, covered in the termites. He was being devoured. His body was marked by broken wings and small drill holes along his skin. His eyes partially liquefied from the incessant digging of the termites. This one portly white man was reduced to a shade of red, brown, and gray crawling skin. The sight and swarm made it unbearable to stay, and Bill and I ran out of the room, tripping over each other in haste. When the police arrived, they turned off the lights to the room, and the swarm vanished almost immediately. Thereafter, I was told Diamond had suffered from PTSD. She supposedly said that the man started to get very rough with her, and that a shadow floated out of the cracks that turned out to be the termites. They said the cause of the man's death was a traumatic brain injury, but it wasn't from the fall. It was from the nesting termites. To this day, you can still rent room M106, but it's under a different number, so beware.